what actually, what type of children are these? What are the ages and where do they come from? What are the targeted areas that
Mhm.
you? Is it like single parents or? I know that single parents might mean a father nowadays, just
Yeah,
a father,
yeah.
or is it mostly families that are fatherless, or what type of children are we targeting here?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I mean, I guess the best way to respond is to tell you a little bit more about our programs and
Okay.
who and the age range of the young people in our programs.
And this also is a non-for-profit organization.
It's absolutely 100%
Okay.
privately funded nonprofit. Our flagship program is the All Stars Talent Show Network.
Okay.
And we have young people from 5 to 25 years of age participate in hip-hop talent shows in locations throughout the South and the West Sides.
Okay.
Young people, they sing, they rap, they dance, they do all types of performances. We allow young people to express themselves in their own words. We don't censor the performers. That young people often talk about very traumatic things sometimes. Sometimes they speak about joyful things, but the key thing is every young person's performance is in their own words. And that's for ages 5 to 25 years of age. And we have a development school for youth program, which is for young people 16 to 21. And what we do with this program, Markie, is that we introduce young people to our partners in the business community. We have a series of weekly workshops that take place in downtown Chicago. There's no grade point average requirement for a young person to participate. So whether a young person is getting A's, B's, C's, D's, F's, even if they've dropped out of school, they can be part of either one of our programs, the All Stars Talent Show Network or the Development School.
Oh, that's wonderful for you to say that.
Oh, absolutely. And
because sometimes they generally would say something like, if you keep your grades up, you can come up in here.
Right.
And some people can't keep their grades
Well,
up.
we need to reach those young people as well. And so in our Development School for Youth program, young people participate in a 14-week semester of workshops that are sponsored by our partnering companies. The workshops include resume writing, public speaking, how to interview for a job. And we have a big graduation ceremony near the end of May. And all of our graduates are placed into 6-week paid summer internships. And I'm proud to say this past summer, 2019, we placed 75 young people into paid internships at 39 different companies where they earned $14 an hour for the 6 weeks during the summer.
Oh, that's wonderful. I really have to pat everybody on the back for that because I'm all for children. I wanted to do as much as possible for youth service.
Yes.
And it's just, like I was telling Tiffany?
Yes.
Tiffany that my memory on names are not good at all, but like I was telling Tiffany that if you have an opportunity to put things on television, it should be to help other people.
Yes.
Or if you have an opportunity to get a business, it should help other people in some type of way. And this is something that the children are more important than anything.
Yes.
And I'm so glad that you all have just reached out to them and embraced them and try to do so much. And what other things did you all do at your school?
Yeah. Well, with the Development School for Youth program, one of the things that has been a beautiful thing to witness is the young people participating again in the workshops, the young people doing 6-week internships, but they've really gotten to know many of the business leaders who sponsor the internships. So, many business people take young people out to lunch, they take them out on special boat outings, they take them to see plays, and we do a lot of that as well with our young people because we want them to become more worldly, more familiar, more connected to our city. So we've had many of our folks who sponsored trips to the Art Institute for the architectural boat ride, going to the Shed Aquarium. So that way young people see more of the culture of Chicago.
Yeah, and Chicago is the place to be for that. I mean, you'll never run out of things to do here in Chicago.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah. And one thing about, I definitely want to talk about how we have a fantastic outreach team that goes into our communities. Because even though we have a social media presence, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on LinkedIn, but we know not everybody's going to find us that way. So we have teams that go out to communities on the south and west sides, to transit stops, to street corners, to community centers, with clipboards, with postcards, and we sign people up right at the green line train stop, the blue line, the red line, the orange line. We go out to right where people are in the community and meet them on the streets, and we sign up people to participate in our programs. And we meet all kinds of young people who are walking the streets, many of whom didn't think that they would ever be invited to participate in quality programs. But I'm very proud of how we've, spoken to over 30,000 young people over the course of our 12 years through our community outreach operation.
Wow. And so this is one, is it just in New York and Chicago? New York, Chicago, and Texas, right?
New York, Chicago, Dallas, Texas, also San Francisco, California. We do very similar operations in which we go out into the communities to transit stops and street corners and speak to young people and their families and invite them to be part of our programs. And we want to invite everybody, because these programs are really developmental for every young person. And again, regardless of how well they're doing in school, whether they've dropped out of school, we want young people to know that in the All Stars Project, that this is a place where we welcome them and they can grow and develop.
Come as you are type thing.
And the key thing is using the developmental power of performance, because when young people perform, they feel alive. And in places like Chicago, where so many communities on the south and the west sides have, had many years of disinvestment or disrespect in many cases, we go into these same neighborhoods and we give young people a chance to express themselves. And through performance, young people feel alive. They feel like they can accomplish things they didn't think they could do. Whether it's singing on stage,
that's what I was gonna
or being an intern at a company.
Do they have to have any type of experience? They have to have any talent, or do you teach them the talent?
Not at all. They can perform just as they are. Like if a young person, if you have an 8-year-old girl who wants to recite her ABCs on stage, that is a developmental experience for her, because she's getting a chance to stand up in front of 300 people and to do a performance. And sometimes performances look different for different people. Some people are very talented, some people are not as talented, but the thing that connects them is performing, and performing on stage, and performing in front of an audience, and hearing the cheering from an audience, and hearing that appreciation for the fact that they were courageous enough to get up on stage and to sing and to rap or play an instrument.
That they're starting to learn their worth.
Yes.
But even if they hadn't, they may not have excelled in one area, they may be able to find something else.
Yes. Exactly. And one of the things I love about how our young people are involved is not only do they perform on stage, not only do they perform in these, perform as young professionals and workshops and as paid internships. Many of our young people volunteer with us as well. Like many of them love to give back. And some people don't realize just how much it means to a young person when they are able to help you to build your organization and build your program.
Right.
So young people are side by side with us when we're doing outreach on the south and the west sides. Young people are with us when we do our fundraising events. They dress up, they come to our luncheons, to dinner events, and so our young people are very much a part of not only being participants in the programs, but fellow builders with us as well.
Be out in the world with the business and interacting with older people and different nationalities and different types of talents.
Yeah, and they develop as young leaders when they do that.
Yeah, they do. So now, how long have you been in this entire group thing?
I'm so glad you asked that, because it was actually 30 years ago that I first met